Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is February 13th, 2025. And today we're going to be discussing the angry speech that Hansi Flick had for the players. Something that's very unusual of him, given the humiliation of yesterday at the hands of Atletico de Madrid. Also, a PSG promising player wants to join Barcelona or has offered himself to Barcelona, I should say. And finally, Nico Williams regretting his decision. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Boo. And welcome to the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where not only we discuss Barca News, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering any questions, and getting that discussion going. So start filling up the chat section so we can get this going. Now, for those of you who don't want to watch the chat section because you're boring, just kidding. I will be adding chapters and timestamps in the description in case you want to skip through it and get straight into the news. Now, tomorrow we do have the MoCast, of course. So for the channel members, tomorrow we do have a MoCast. I'll schedule it tonight so you're aware that it's happening tomorrow and what time, because I know I haven't done it in a few weeks, given that I was out of the country. Now, having said all that, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you're looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kits, Kickback, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. And click on them, you get access to some pretty cool deals and offers. All right, let's begin with the news. And as always, the first segment of news is comprised of multiple bits of news for the sake of brevity. And we start with good news, because we need some good news after yesterday's humiliation at the hands of Atletico Madrid. We need to start with good news, and the good news is in regards to Coutinho, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Brazilian star has officially joined his teammates on the pitch today. He joined the group training session, which means that Raphinha is, or will be, I should say, available for Monday's match in La Liga against Girona. And this is, of course, great news, because as we've seen, Coutinho has become one of the most important players on the squad, and it's really good to have him back. Now, of course, Raphinha had a muscle overload against Elche. As a result, he missed yesterday's match against Atletico Madrid. He also missed the matches against Albacete and Mallorca, if I'm not mistaken. He had been training on his own, but today he trained with the group, and he will be available for Monday's match. And that's, of course, very good news. Now, one player who's still a doubt for Monday's match against Girona is Marcus Rashford, who had some knee discomfort after the match against, what's the last match we played in La Liga? Blanking. It was it Mallorca? Anyways. But Marcus Rashford did have some knee discomfort. As a result, he too missed yesterday's match against Atletico Madrid, and he's still yet to train with the group. So for now, he is still a doubt for Monday's match. Of course, we'll see how Rashford feels over the weekend. If he continues to feel some discomfort, then he won't play at all. But if he does recover, then there's a good chance that he would be available for Monday's match. Now, of course, another player who won't be available is Pedri, who's still recovering from his injury. Pedri is expected to be back for Levante's match on February 22nd. Now, the last bit of news of this segment is that Barcelona have officially been readmitted into the EFC, which was formerly known as the ECA, the European Club Association. Now it's known as the European Football Clubs, which is, of course, the organization of European clubs, or kind of like an association of European clubs. And Barcelona have now been officially readmitted after leaving the Super League project, which is officially dead. Florentino Perez's project, the Super League. Now, this is the official statement that Barcelona released today, saying FC Barcelona reports that it has received official communication from the European Football Clubs, EFC, confirming its readmission as an ordinary member of the organization, following the club's decision to end its relationship with the European Super League company and to formally submit its application for readmission. The EFC Board of Directors has unanimously approved the reinstatement of FC Barcelona in accordance with its statutes. So Barcelona, now that they left Florentino Perez and his failed project, the Super League, they're officially readmitted into the EFC, European Football Clubs, or formerly known the ECA, the European Clubs Association. Now, here's the surprising part about this statement. Let me read the second part, because the communication said that, or the statement said, the communication received highlights that the EFC president, Mr. Nasser Al-Khelaifi, personally submitted the club's application for membership to the council at the meeting held today and emphasized the decisive role played by Mr. Jean Laporta in the recent events that made this agreement possible. I'll read that again. Mr. Nasser Al-Khelaifi personally submitted the club's application for membership, and he also emphasized the decisive role played by Laporta. Now, this was absolutely crazy to me, because had you told me last year that Mr. Nasser Al-Khelaifi, who's the president of PSG, and he's also the president of the EFC, if you had told me that Mr. Al-Khelaifi would become an ally of Barcelona on the European stage, I would have told you, yeah, okay, bro, and I'm the king of England. But what a twist of events, because, there was a lot of beef between Barca and PSG, pretty much. I think it all started with Bartomeu, maybe before, but these were two clubs that really, really hated each other. Their relationship was completely broken between the two. And I think part of it also had to do with, Laporta siding with, Florentino Perez with the Super League. I think that kind of isolated us from the rest of the world, because it was just us in Madrid after everyone else bounced and left. And, to be friends with, or to stick by someone that was constantly stabbing us in the back just did not make any sense. So I'm glad that finally Laporta came to his senses and left Florentino Perez and his failed project. And now, look at that. It's already paying off. We're back in the EFC. We've formed an alliance with Al-Khelaifi and PSG. Not a bad alliance. We are talking about an incredibly wealthy club with lots of connections. And now Al-Khelaifi personally submitting Barcelona's application, and he even advocated for us. He helped convince the member clubs to let us in. Again, if you had told me this a few months ago, I would have told you, yeah, okay, bro, sure. But crazy. So I'm glad that Laporta left Florentino Perez, because why would you have to go against the rest of the world just to side with someone who's constantly stabbing you in the back? Just did not make any sense to me. All right, let's do the comment section, and then after that, we are going to talk about Hansi Flick, because the German coach was incredibly upset, of course. We're going to talk about the speech that he gave the players, because he absolutely lost it. Understandably so. Java the Hutt says, hey, Mo, do you plan to go to any World Cup games this summer? Absolutely not. I got to say something. Fuck the World Cup and fuck FIFA. Simple as that. I think it's clear. I think I already knew that this was going to happen when he announced that the U.S. was going to be one of the hosts of the World Cup, and I immediately knew that it would be a huge mistake. And, well, it's proven, they're proving me right. Because the level of greed that we're seeing with the ticket prices is absolutely disgusting. Football was supposed to be the sport of the people. And it was supposed to be a sport that, somewhat affordable for the average person so they can enjoy. And there's absolutely no need to be charging thousands of dollars for a single ticket. And that's just the ticket, right? If you've ever been to any American sports game, you know that parking is going to be super expensive. Food is going to be super expensive. Drinks are going to be super expensive. So no, fuck FIFA, fuck the World Cup. I am not going to be part of this greed. I am not going to give away my hard-earned money to a bunch of greedy motherfuckers. So no. And honestly, I hope it fails. Valeriano says, no matter what, Barca should go for a comeback and make statement at the Camp Nou, also to keep the momentum for Champions League. Look, do I believe that Barcelona can mount a comeback? I do. I think we have the players, we have the team, we have the system, we have the coach. They are capable of that. The question is, will they? Because we've seen that this team is capable of anything as long as they try. But when they want to play half-ass, when they don't want to play full intensity, then this team is weak or gets exposed a lot. But when they go all out, it's one of the best teams in Europe. So are they capable of it? Yes. Will they do it? We're going to have to wait and see. I mean, it is a pretty tall order because it's 4 goals. You need at least 4 during the 90 minutes just so you can go to extra hazard penalties, or, of course, you need to score 5. Now, there's plenty of matches where Barcelona have scored 4 or 5 goals. So are we is the team capable of it? Again, yes. But it's going to be a tall order. Especially, kids, I'm pretty sure Atletico Madrid is going to go to the Camp Nou to park the bus. Because, of course, why would they risk it? Why would they leave space in the back when they're up 4-0? So they're going to go park the bus and look for counterattacks. And for Barcelona to pull off the comeback, which they are capable of, again, they will need to start scoring early. Because if the clock starts running out, the team are only going to get more desperate. The lines are going to get higher. More players are going to join the attack, and that's going to leave plenty of space for Atletico to catch us on a counterattack. So is the team capable of a comeback? Yes. Will they? We're going to have to wait and see. It's just going to depend on how bad the players want it. Koroma says, good morning, Mo. From Sierra Leone, me and my family are not happy because of the humiliation, but thanks for the update. May Allah continue to bless you and protect you, for we ameen, inshallah. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the beautiful words. Thank you for joining, and thank you for your comment. And yes, I don't think anyone is happy about yesterday's performance. But like I said during yesterday's post-match live analysis, I think it was a much-needed humiliation because this team was starting to get used to playing half-ass. And so far, it was working because we had only played against smaller clubs like Real Madrid and Elche and Mallorca. So I think we were due for a wake-up call. We were due for these players to realize, hey, you can't go around playing half-ass. You have to give it your all if you want to win important things. If you don't want to win important things, then yeah, sure, keep going half-ass. Keep playing like Koundé does, right? Where you're just walking around nonchalant, I don't care, whatever. Whatever happens, happens. Etuhu. Last year, Semi was 5-4 in aggregate versus Atleti, just saying. True. Again, if Atletico scored 4 against us in a match, we could score 4 against them in 90 minutes, right? They scored 4 against the 90 minutes. We technically could too. But again, it's going to depend on how bad these players want it. And Messi Ballon d'Or says, hi, everyone. Also, I heard the FIFA bans Athletic Club players signing for the next 3 years. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Night Game says, seriously, without Raphinha, our team turns dumb. Without him, we look clueless on the pitch and our system crumbles. Raphinha isn't a system player. He is the system. You know what it is? It's not that they turn dumb. It's like, I think Raphinha's intensity, it's contagious, right? He gives it his all. And I think when he's on the field, he's doing so much that it kind of forces the other players to like step it up because you're like, oh my God, this guy's making me look bad. This guy's all over the pitch. He's attacking, he's defending, he's recovering balls, and I'm over here, scratching my balls. I need to step it up. And I think that's what it is. I think his intensity is so contagious that it kind of motivates and encourages the other players to also give it more. And our system without intensity just doesn't work, right? We need the players to be able to recover and to press. And, that's the only way a high line works. But anyways, one more comment and then we'll move on to the next bit of news about Barca Mama. What's up, Barca Mama? Says Mo at the pool hall tonight. Mocast tomorrow. All right. Enjoy the pool hall. Make sure to get into a fight so you can use the sticks. Like the movies, you could break it in two. Be like, fuck you. No, just kidding. Enjoy the pool hall. And yes, Mocast tomorrow. I'll schedule it tonight. That way everybody gets a notification and everyone knows that it's happening and they know what time it is. All right, let's move on to the next bit of news since we just touched on it a little bit during the comments. But let's talk about yesterday's humiliating defeat at the hands of Atletico de Madrid 4-0. Oh, crap. I got the order wrong. Let's not talk about that yet. First, we do have to talk about, since we did mention PSG, we have to talk about this guy that you see on your screen, whose name is Emmanuel Mbemba. Emmanuel Mbemba. M-B-E-M-B-A. I spell it because sometimes people ask me, Mo, how do you spell the name of that player? I can't find him. So Emmanuel Mbemba. And why do we have to talk about Emmanuel Mbemba? Well, we have to talk about him because he has offered himself to Barcelona. Now, if you're wondering who Emmanuel Mbemba is, I sure didn't know who he is before today. He's a 17-year-old left back, can also play as a center back. He's currently part of PSG's under-19 setup, so Juvenil A, the equivalent of Juvenil A at PSG. And his contract expires this summer transfer market. Expires in 2026, meaning that if he doesn't renew, he will become a free agent. Now, Mbemba is considered one of the most exciting talents currently in PSG's setup, youth setup. So obviously they're trying to keep him. They've already offered him a contract renewal, but so far, he has decided not to sign. Now, of course, things can change, but for now, Mbemba is not willing to sign his renewal, and instead, his agent has offered him to Barcelona. Now, he's also offered him to Bayern, but Barcelona are more interested because they've been tracking him for quite some time. Now, how does Mbemba play, or what kind of profile he is? Again, he's a left back that can play as a center back, and he's known for his pace, his forward runs, and his comfort on the ball. Sound familiar? Pretty much the profile that Barcelona always looks in their fullbacks. And again, one of the most exciting talents in PSG's setup, not willing to renew right now, and he's been offered to Barcelona, potentially as a free agent, because if he doesn't renew, again, he will become free agent because his contract expires in the summer. Now, we don't know if this is a real offer. This is his agent truly offering him because the player is tired of PSG and wants to come to Barca, or whether this is a strategy by the agent to kind of drive up the contract with PSG. Like, hey, look, I offered him to Barca. They're interested. Offer us more money or we leave, right? We'll have to wait and see. But for now, just know that Mbemba has been offered to Barca. Honestly, I think it's a no-brainer. Again, 17 years old, very promising. Pretty much the same exact profile that Barcelona always looks for in its fullbacks. He would be coming for free. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. That's a clear yes. But of course, it all depends on whether he renews or not. Anyways, that is all for this segment. Let's go back to the comment section. And then after that, we will talk about Hansi Flick, because that was supposed to be the next segment, but I completely got my segments out of order. But that's okay, right? We always mess up during the lives. It's all good. Anyways, let me see. There we go. Okay. Couldn't find my comments. All right, let's do more comments, and then we'll talk about Flick, because he was mighty upset yesterday. Again, understandably so. P4K Chema says, hey, Mo, I'm seeing there's interest in Kunde, Liverpool, and Gerard Maldini, Milan. Also, did you see PSG's left back, Emmanuel Mbemba, 17 years old, offered himself to Barca. He is a free agent in the summer. Well, I just talked about Mbemba, so I guess no need to touch on that. As far as the Kunde news, I'm going to talk about it in the next video, which is coming after the podcast. So I don't want to get ahead of myself. And Jeff says we're not the only team who plays with the high line, but we are the only one mocked for it because our execution of it, focusing only on high line, is bonkers. We're so predictable. It's not that. And by the way, this was part of Flick's analysis of the match. The ones to blame was our front. people always love to rush to blame the defense, right? Because it's the easy thing to do, right? Here's the thing about football. Most fans, I would say 90% of fans, are incapable of doing real, meaningful football analysis, right? And that's nothing bad. It's a skill, right? I'm not saying I have that skill, but it's a skill. And there's a reason why coaches, scouts, strategists, they make so much money because they have that skill that the majority of the world population don't have, which is being able to analyze matches, tactics, figure out what's going wrong, what's going right, how to fix things, right? It's a skill that not everybody has. And because of that, usually fans are drawn to the easiest thing to notice. Hey, we're conceding goals. Well, whose job is to stop the goals? The defense. Boom. Defense fault. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's not. But of course, that's the easy thing to notice because everything else takes a lot more of a skill that most people, again, don't have. Right? That's also why the reason people love to argue about stats, right? Hey, this guy has 10 goals. Ferran has 10 goals. So that's it. He's an incredible player, right? Because again, that's the easy thing to do. Anybody can read stats and repeat them. But actually analyzing the player as a whole, most people don't have the skill to do that, which again, it's not bad. It's just a skill like anything else. You know, they're just like some people can sing and some people can't. Just because you can't sing doesn't mean it's anything bad. You just don't have the skill. You just got to look, you're gonna have to figure out what other skills you do have. And of course, nobody has all the skills. We all just have one or two skills that we're really good at. So of course, everybody's quick to blame the defense. But in reality, the reason why we got killed yesterday, it was not the defense. It was our forwards at our midfield. Because they gave Atletico Madrid so much time when they would recover the ball to set up the plays. And if you're not making the other team uncomfortable as soon as they recover the ball, they're always going to beat your back. They're always going to do it because that's the thing about playing with the high line. The only way the high line works is that everybody presses and does it on time. Yesterday, we either would not press or when we did, we would be super late. And it doesn't matter who you have as defense. People keep saying, we need a sign. We also conceded a lot of fucking goals when we had Inigo. Do people forget that? People's memory is so fucking short. It's crazy. And it doesn't matter who you sign. You can sign 5 Maldinis. Like literally go to Paolo Maldini, take a DNA sample and replicate it and create 5 different Maldinis and sign all 5 of them. It doesn't matter if your front is not pressing. But people don't understand that. They just want to blame the defense. Defense. Oh, our defense sucks. Oh, Guarcia. Oh, Kunde, Balde. Oh, we need a sign. It's like, guess what? Doesn't matter who we fucking sign. If our forwards, they don't press, they don't try to recover the ball as soon as they lose it, it doesn't fucking matter. So the man says, hello, Mo. How are you doing today? I was supposed to be angry yesterday watching the match, but surprisingly, I wasn't because the boys' performance was next to zero, which you have pointed out. Yeah, it's hard to be. I don't think it was anger for me. It was just disappointment. Like, it is disappointing because you know what this team is capable of. And to see them not live up to that, to their potential, just out of fucking laziness, or I don't know, lack of desire or lack of motivation, whatever it might be, that's the disappointing thing, right? It's like that movie, A Bronx Tale, that quote, nothing sadder than wasted talent. It's kind of like how I see it when the team pulls off performances like this. It's like we know what you're capable of because we've seen you do it, right? We've seen you thrash Madrid 4-0, 5-2. Seen you thrash Bayern Munich. We've seen you, we've seen you do crazy things. So the fact that you didn't do it yesterday is because you simply didn't want to, whether it be lack of motivation or whatever it may be. And that's the disappointing part. Because one thing is if you're just not capable of, like if you're, for example, if you're Girona, you just don't have what it takes to. So you're like, fuck it, what can we do, right? But here, that they can, but they won't. And that's very disappointing. Dorian says, hey, Mo, I think the board is going to have to make some very tough decisions in the summer transfer window. And I mean by selling some of the players that I don't want press or try to put in effort. Yeah, there's a lot of players who are not Barca level who are on the team that need to go. But of course, the problem is that a lot of players don't want to leave. And then you're stuck. Because, it's tough to push someone out of Barca. I mean, you're part of one of the best clubs in the world. You're making a lot of money. You're living in a great city that has great weather. It's on the Mediterranean, great food everywhere you go. They know you. You're like a god walking in the city. You go to a restaurant and they automatically clear a table for you. It's a good life, It's a good life. Even if like going to Chelsea or Arsenal or Tottenham, like nothing against London, but it's tough to trade Barcelona's weather and beaches, even though they're beaches or whatever. But weather and being on the Mediterranean for London's rain and fog, right? So yeah, it's tough to push players out. Night Game says Barcelona got robbed versus Atletico. Cubarcigo should have stood in the first frame. They were all onside. Yamal got fouled in the box. Simeone should have got red card. We could have at least scored 2-3. Maybe. But it was definitely not the ref's fault that we lost. I mean, actually, all the interventions that all the these controversial refereeing decisions, I think they all came during the second half, if I remember correctly. Which, doesn't explain how we allowed 4 goals in the first half, which could have easily been 6. But anyways. And we do have a donation. Let's fucking go. Sancho. Thank you so much, my friend, for your donation. Thank you for always supporting the channel. And thank you for your incredible generosity. But Sanjuk says, I don't remember the last time we played well in the first half. Flick needs to fix the issue ASAP. Also, Lookman is making a difference. I've been saying this, man. I've been saying this for quite some time. Is that I'm tired of these fucking comebacks. Not because I don't like comebacks. Who doesn't like comebacks? Comebacks are amazing. They're exciting. But they're exciting when they're once every now and then. When they are every day, every match, it's no longer exciting. It becomes concerning. Because there's obviously a problem, right? These players are throwing away the first half and then praying for a miracle, trying to pull a miracle in the second half, which, sure, it works sometimes against smaller teams, but that doesn't always fly. You can't go about always just expecting, to pull comebacks. Right. Sometimes you need the full 90 minutes to win. You can't throw away 45 minutes and just limit yourself to 45 minutes to win. Sometimes you need the full 90 minutes. And sometimes even the 90 minutes are not enough. So why would you limit yourself to 45? But anyways. All right. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Because we do have to talk about Hansi Flick. Because it's been revealed what he told the players during halftime after they had conceded 4 goals against Atletico Madrid in Spanish Super Cup, but in the Copa del Rey semi-final. Now, Flick is, usually he is overall a composed coach. He's not one to get angry with his players. He's not one to scream at his players. But people within the locker room report that yesterday Flick was incredibly angry, was very upset, lost it on his players, yelled at them, and told them that they were a team without spirit, that they were a team without intensity, and they were a team without a desire to compete. And that the image that they had left during the first half was an image not worthy of a side that wants to win trophies. Which I agree 100%. Now, Flick also stated during his rant that he didn't understand how Barcelona could step onto the pitch without intensity against a team They were always looking to win every single ball. Again, all facts. Because here's the thing. Yesterday, Atletico Madrid came out 120%, 150%. They came out like this was the final match of their lives. Like this was it. It's do or die. And that showed in everything they did, in every ball that they tried to win, in every run, in every pass, in every attack, in every defensive action. I mean, they came out ready to kill. They came out like this was the Champions League final. And Barcelona, on the other hand, they came out like it's a warm-up match. And you can't have that. When you see that a team is coming out with full intensity, you only have two options. Option number one, you match their intensity and you play with the same intensity as they are, or maybe even a little more. Or option number two, you try to use that intensity against them. How? Moving the ball around, maintaining possession, right? That's why the team always trains those rondos, right? When they're standing in a circle, passing the ball, and there's two people in the middle trying to take the ball away. You do that. You pass, and you let them run and run and run until they exhaust themselves. And when you see that they're starting to run out of gas, you go for the jugular and you start attacking. That's what you do. You either match the intensity or you use the intensity against them. And Barcelona did neither. They did not match the intensity, and they couldn't even hold on to the ball. I mean, shit, I think all three goals were a result of Barcelona losing the ball, if I remember that correctly. Now, of course, the first one was an absolute fluke, but shit like that happens. The state of the pitch was awful, by the way, but nonetheless, it's not an excuse, right? Because Atletico Madrid played on the same exact pitch. So please, I don't want to hear that as an excuse. And of course, when you come out with that intensity, half asleep at the wheel against a team that's come out like it's the last final of their lives, of course you're going to suffer. Of course you're going to lose. And of course, Hansi Flick would be upset. Because like I said a few moments ago during the comment section, the worst part about this is that we know what this team is capable of. We know. We've seen it. But they simply just didn't want to. Whether it be because they were overconfident, whether it be because they weren't motivated enough, I don't know. But they just didn't want it. And that's problematic because one thing is not to have the capacity to compete. And then, okay, you're like, all right, whatever. What else can I do? But to be able to compete and choosing not to, that's a million times worse. Million times worse. Nothing sadder than wasted talent, right? So, Flick, very mad, very angry, understandably so. I hope these players react. Because I also, like I said during the comment section, when someone asked me if I believe we could mount a comeback, I think we can. We have the capacity to do so. We have the players, the team, the system, the coach. It's capable of pulling off a comeback in a second leg. But the question is, do the players actually want it? Do they want it enough to make it happen? Can they? Yes. Will they? We're going to have to wait and see. Anyways, let's come back to the chat section or the comments. And then we are going to talk about Nico Williams. Yes, we're talking about Nico Williams again. All right, let's see. Where did I leave off? JYD Grovza says, I've been trying to join the MoCast, but so far I've been unable. Please, I need help in this regards. How are you celebrating the Valentine with your busy schedule? So, one at a time. MoCast. It's only for members. So unless you're a member, you cannot join the MoCast. You know, the MoCast is the exclusive podcast for members only. That's my way to thank members, well, for being members, right? Because they have no obligation to be members. My videos, my podcasts, my watch-alongs, my analysis videos, they're all free. So they have absolutely no obligation to be members and pay their hard-earned money towards the channel. So that was my way of thanking them for doing so. which was the Mocast. So yes, if you want to join the Mocast, you have to become a member. As far as Valentine's, I have no plans. My girl is not in town. She is away with family. So no plans. I'm going to be just taking it easy. Taking it easy. I haven't taken it easy in a while. So this weekend, I'm looking forward to just doing absolutely nothing. I just want to order in food and watch TV, stuff my face, and just be a fat ass. You know, that's my plan for the weekend. But chat, let me know. What are you guys doing for Valentine's? Any exciting plans? Let me know. Edward says, hey, Mo, let me first say, fuck it. Secondly, congratulations, Atletico Madrid. You know what? That's a good point. That reminds me. Yes, Atletico Madrid have a squad and have players and have a crowd backing, by the way, because their stadium was an absolute, I mean, it was on fire yesterday, right? Not the pitch. The pitch was shit, but the fans themselves, how they support their team. But between their fans, their stadium, their players, I mean, they have some great quality players. They can be one of the best teams in Europe. But the problem is they have a coach who just likes to park the bus. You know, yesterday they didn't park the bus. They played full offensive football. And look what they did. If they played like that every game, they could be a threat. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Simeone. That guy should have been sacked ages ago. I mean, he is the biggest choker in the history of football. Every fucking season, they start out, you're like, oh, Atletico Madrid, they're going to do amazing things. They're looking strong, and then they fucking crash and burn. Every season. I mean, you can count on it. I think he should coach Dortmund. I mean, Dortmund love to do that too. So, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck Atletico's doing with Simeone. I think they should fire him and bring in like a proper coach because they have the squad and the players and the talent to be a threat and not to choke every fucking season because that's their coach is a choke master. Choke artist. Cornell, what's up, my man? Says, hey, Mo, hope all is well, bruv. Here's to hoping the squad figures out their elbows from assholes. And it's like last season where they cut pedal to the metal. Where they put pedal to the metal. Can't even read. I mean, technically it's out, but I get it. I got you. I hope so, my friend. I hope so. In fact, since it is Friday night, and, oh, man, hold on. There we go. Since it is Friday night, it is Valentine's weekend, I will drink to that. I will drink to this team, getting their shit together, learning their lesson, and hopefully mounting a comeback. And if they don't mount a comeback, that's fine. But at least learn your lesson, get your shit together, because we do have the knockout stages of the Champions League. So at least if we can't pull the comeback against Atletico Madrid, at least learn your lesson for the Champions League. So at least we could go far in Champions League. I don't know about winning it, but, you know, the further we go, the more money we make, right? So cheers to that. And, of course, cheers to our upcoming trip. I'm excited to go to Barcelona, so I hope to see you there, my friend. So cheers. My God. That rum is good. All right, let's see. Dorian says, I still don't know what was Deco's plan or idea in signing Cancelo in the transfer window. What does he even do? That's a great question. That's a great question because I said that was going to happen. And there's even people that unsubscribe from the channel. They're like, I'm not subscribing. I'm like, all right, bye. Don't let the door hit you in the back. But, I mean, Flick clearly said, I want a defensive player. And Deco's like, oh, I got you, bro. And he brings him an offensive player. Right? It's kind of like, hey, I'm hungry. Can you fetch me something to eat? Sure. Here's a pencil. It's like, what? I don't know. And it's clear that Flick was not happy. I mean, during his press conference, which, by the way, when I read it to people, they were like, wow, you just don't want to admit that you're wrong. You're just making shit up. You're just twisting things. I'm like, all right, okay. When Kunde got injured, was it Elche match? Flick opted for Araujo, having an actual fullback named Cancelo. He brought in Araujo and moved Eric Garcia to the right. What was the other match where Cancelo came on towards the end? Came on as a winger. Yesterday, came on as a winger. And he's a fullback. So clearly, Flick does not trust Cancelo to play in the fullback positions. And that's his position. But no, I'm the crazy one. Let me unsubscribe. Let me go cry because, I can't handle a different opinion. Choo-choo! What's up, my man? Choo-choo says, hello, Mo. Good to see you today once again. Good to see you, my friend. It's always good to see you in the comment section. Thank you for joining the chat section. Hopefully you had a better day today than yesterday, because yesterday was depressing. But anyways, Spain99 says, hey, Mo, I got a question. As you maybe know, that Pedri doesn't come back till the 9th. Actually, they're saying February 22nd against Levante. How much do you think that will hurt us with Raphinha, Rashford, and Gabi and others? Well, we've seen, obviously, Pedri is the best midfielder in the world. I think our team moves the ball a lot better when Pedri's on the field. We generate more when Pedri's on the field. So I know, and so obviously his contribution is unmatched. But so far we have been doing, well without him. Obviously it would be better with him, but I think we've gotten to a point where we can still win without him. And that partly had to do with Frankie de Jong's really good performances where he really stepped it up, except yesterday. I don't know if it was because yesterday everybody was asleep or because Frankie can only give you good performances against smaller teams. I don't know. Time will tell. But, obviously it's better with him. But so far, we've been okay without him. Anyways, let's do the last bit of news and then we'll do more comments. I don't want to drag this too long. But let's do the last bit of news because, ladies and gentlemen, why are we back at this guy? We do have to talk about Nico Williams. Nico Williams, because his circle has revealed, or people close to his circle, or within his circle, or people close to the player, have revealed that Nico Williams has lost his hope of being successful at Athletic Club de Bilbao. That partly is affecting his performance, given his loss of hope. That he feels trapped at Athletic Club de Bilbao because he signed a 10-year contract. Did he not think that was a bad idea? But anyways. And that he regrets his decision, the decision that he took in the summer, again, to renew and extend his contract by 10 more years. Now, the reports also stated that Nico Williams was feeling even less hopeful given that FIFA have banned Athletic Club de Bilbao from signing, or I should say registering players for the next 3 years. But that ban has been lifted. I know someone mentioned it in the comment section. That ban has been lifted. FIFA has lifted the 3-year ban on Athletic Club de Bilbao. Now, initially, this news broke a few days ago that apparently Athletic Club had several infractions. And as such, FIFA had banned them for 3 years from registering any players until 2028. There was no explanation what those infractions were exactly. Athletic Club did not explain. But now that ban has been lifted. But nonetheless, Nico does feel trapped. And he's lost hope that he will succeed there. And he regrets his decision. And Nico, my friend, I don't wish bad on anyone. But I also don't feel bad because you tell me you didn't see this coming? Bro, you're at Athletic Club de Bilbao and you had the chance to sign for Barcelona. We're not talking about you're at Real Madrid and decided to stay at Real Madrid. That I get. Or, I don't know, at Arsenal or Liverpool or Man City or PSG or something. No. We're talking about you're at Athletic Club, a mid-table team. And one of the best teams in the world came knocking at your door and you said no. And now you regret it. You truly didn't think that you were going to regret it. That you said no to a big club when you are at a mid-tier club. Again, I get it if you were at another big club. That makes sense. You're still at a big club, so whatever. But you truly didn't see this coming? How badly are you being advised? Or how dumb are you? Or maybe both. That's my question to Nico Williams. You truly thought that signing a 10-year contract with a mid-tier club was a good idea. 10 years. 10-year contracts are never good. Not for the club, not for the player. The only scenario where a 10-year contract is good for a player is if the player halfway through tears his ACL and his career is over and you're like, oh, well, you're on the hook, so keep paying me. That's the only scenario. It's never a good idea to sign a 10-year contract with a club. Even Messi, who wanted to retire at Barca, never signed a 10-year contract with Barca because you never know what's going to happen. And then to sign it with a mid-tier club, it's like, bro, what the fuck were you thinking? Now, I'll tell you what he was thinking. He was looking at that 20 million euro a season salary. That's what he was thinking. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a good lesson for any players. Not that there's any players watching the channel, but this is a good lesson. Is that money only makes you happy to a certain point. And this, by the way, there's plenty of literature on this. There's plenty of science on this. You can look it up yourselves. Don't just trust a random guy on YouTube, a.k.a. me. But money makes you happy only to a certain point. In other words, the more money you make, the happier you are, but only to a certain point. And once you reach that point, the more money you make, it doesn't really make a difference. Now, if you're making 7 million euros a year, and you have the mansion, and you have the Ferrari, and you have the clothes, and you have the shoes and the watch, and you go to you go out and you can hook up with anyone you want, models, the most beautiful girls, and you go to restaurants and clubs, and they just open the doors for you. You already have it all. And you go from earning 7 to 8 million, it's not gonna make a difference. What's that one extra million euro gonna do for you? You already have it all. What's the extra 2 million a year gonna do for you when you already make millions? Not big of a difference. So at some point, you start caring about how much more money you make. And if you're a football player, you start caring more about, well, the achievements, right? Because again, you're still making a shitload of money. You might be making less. If he would have came to Barca, he would have made maybe 2 million less, but you're still making a shitload of money. So you stop caring about the extra mil or extra 2 mil. And you start caring more about, I want to win trophies. After all, you're an athlete. It's in your nature. You have a competitive nature. You want to win things. You want to win trophies. You want to prove yourself. You want to build a legacy. But apparently nobody told him that. And again, I don't know who's advising him. If it's his family or his agent. But somebody should have told him that. Like, sure, you might make another 2 extra or 3 extra mil at Athletic Club. But you're already making a shitload of money. And you're going to make a shitload of money at Barca. Go for the legacy. Earn that 1 or 2 less mil and win trophies. But no, he chose the money. And now he's unhappy. Surprise, surprise. And honestly, I don't feel bad. Because he should have seen that coming. Also, even if no one was there to advise him on this pretty common lesson that most people know, that money only makes you happier up until a certain point. This is why billionaires still have depression. This is why billionaires still suicide. Because money only makes you happier up until a certain point. But sure, you didn't know that. Your brother, bro. Your fucking brother is right fucking there. Now, some people might not remember this, but Iñaki Williams was extremely promising player coming up. And he too had the chance of going to big clubs. A lot of big European clubs wanted Iñaki Williams when he was younger. And what did he do? He opted to stay at Athletic Club. And how was he rewarded for that? Nothing. Who the fuck is Iñaki Williams? Nobody knows. Nobody cares. He didn't win anything. He has no legacy. When he retires, people are not even going to remember that he existed. So it's like, bro, you didn't know that the extra money was not going to make you happy? How about you look at your brother? He's right fucking there. Perfect lesson of why you shouldn't stay at Athletic Club de Bilbao chasing money when you could be chasing glory and money. Because again, it's not like he was going to come to Barcelona and play for free or earn peanuts. He was still going to make a shitload of money, just a little bit less. But alongside that shitload of money was also going to be glory. And don't you rather make a shitload of money and glory rather than a little bit more shitload of money, but no glory? So again, I don't feel bad. It was clear as day that this was going to happen. And if it wasn't, you should have learned from your brother. But you didn't. You chased the money. Now you're unhappy. So cry me a river. Go wipe your tears with the millions that you're making. Anyway, so let's do more comments and then we'll end this. And of course, I will be doing another video later tonight because there is more news. Suleiman says, we can't keep blaming the referees all the time. We played well many times last year. For example, if we do well for 90 minutes, it will be hard to beat us. Barca. I agree, my friend. Again, the refs yesterday were absolutely fucking abysmal. But that's not the excuse. I mean, we lost because we didn't show up. Simple as that. And how we showed up, like you said, if you do your job, it becomes a lot more difficult for the ref to fuck up your game. You know, if you score for Atletico Madrid 4-0, right? Let's say they had a clear penalty that Barcelona commits a clear foul as they against them in their box, and the referee misses it. You think it would have made a difference? No. They still would have beat us 4-0. And that's what we should be doing. We should be the ones winning 3-4-0 where, oh, Lamine Yamal gets taken down in the box. Who gives a fuck? We still won 4-0. So the ref can never be an excuse. Now, of course, we can still criticize them, but they can never be an excuse. Giving life D. Wait, you're giving life the D? Whoa. Good for you, bro. Our first goal will make Atletico feel tired, and that's where we have to strike harder, as we know Atletico is weak after being scored on. I agree. And again, the longer we take to score, not only we start running out of time, but also will make us more nervous, more desperate, and that causes more mistakes. It also causes us to leave more space in the back because we're gonna advance our lines more and more and more. So if we want to have any hopes of a comeback, we need to strike early. And that way, we don't get nervous. We don't get desperate. And instead, Atletico starts to get nervous and desperate because now they see, oh, shit, they're coming at us and we can't stop it. And as you've pointed out, Atletico is kind of like, Atletico Madrid right now is kind of like Xavi's Barca back then, where as soon as they would get scored out, they would just fall apart. It was like they were made of glass, and scoring a goal would break that glass and shatter them. Edward Hamilton says Atleti is not going to win the league or the UCL. The Copa is the only thing they can win this season. Second leg, the last game versus Messi, they played a six-man backline a yard deep in the 18. Yeah, of course. That's why also they came out super motivated in the first leg. Because, yeah, I think they're out of the La Liga. I don't think they have a chance in the Champions League. So this was kind of it for them. And I understand that Barca wouldn't come out as motivated as them. You know, Atletico came out 120%. And I get Barcelona wouldn't come out as motivated because Barcelona are competing for everything else. But fuck, at least come out at 100%. I'm not asking you to match Atletico's 120, but at least come out at 100. But no, they came out at 50. They were like, ooh, weather's nice. Ooh, check out the stadium. It's beautiful. Look at these lights. Look at these people waving those flags. Oh my God, what a beautiful place. Oh shit, we're down 4-0. It's like, what the fuck, man? Dorian says, let's say hypothetically Atletico somehow blows a 4-0 lead. I think Diego Simeone would definitely get sacked, considering Copa del Rey is the only realistic trophy they can play for. You know what? I keep thinking that, and he never gets sacked. You know he's the highest earner? Well, I don't know now with Julian, but before the summer, he was the highest earner. Like, he was making more than the players. He's been there, 10 years? And every time they blow the season, because they do this every season. They start out strong. You think they have a chance of winning shit, and they don't win shit. And every time you think, all right, this is it. Simeone's going to get sacked. Nope. But there he is. I don't know. Maybe he also has, like, videos of the president, Cerezo, I don't know, making love to a goat or something. And every time they're going to fire him, be like, are you sure about that? I got the video. And Cerezo's like, oh, fuck. All right. Don't tell people I fuck goats. you can stay. I don't know. 876 Jamrock says, welcome to Jamra. I don't think that we take the Copa del Rey seriously, so I think that the coach should have rested a lot of the... No, that's not... The, the response to this defeat is not like, it's not, oh, we don't really care about this cup, so fuck it. That's what Madrid does, right? They were, oh, we're going to win the Spanish Super Cup. They lose it. Oh, we don't care about it. It's a meaningless trophy. We're going to win the Copa del Rey. They get eliminated. Oh, we don't care. We only care about the Champions League. They don't finish top 8. Oh, it's okay. All we care is about La Liga. No, that's not the response. The response is we need to do fucking better. We're not Madrid. We don't sacrifice trophies. We go for all of them. That's why we have 2 trebles and a sextuple. And Madrid have none. Java the Hut says, with the news that you shared about Nico, would you sign him if he absolutely everything to leave Bilbao? No, I wouldn't, because he had 2 chances to come to Barca, and both chances he said no. And eventually, you got to move on, right? Mbappe, he rejected Real Madrid 3 times, and finally he agreed to go. And not only did he make Florentino look stupid, and he robbed him because they're saying he got, I think it was 150 and a signing bonus, 150 million. But it's like, what has Mbappe done for them? Sure, he's scoring a shitload of goals, but their locker room is completely fractured ever since he arrived. And he haven't won shit ever since he arrived. So no, I think he had his chance twice. And he blew it twice. So enough is enough. I can overlook the first time, but 2 times, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. So yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Says Nico better get a spoon and start digging after we got Rashford and we almost reaching the 1-to-1 rule. Now here's a question to you guys. Let me know. Nico Williams or Rashford? Let's say, now, of course, Nico Williams, if he does decide, fuck it, I want to leave, I'm sure his release clause is through the roof and Athletic Club want a shitload of money. But let's say he forces Athletic Club to accept 30. That's not going to happen. But let's say he does. Would you take Rashford for 30 or Nico for 30? Let me know. Let me know. I think that's a tough one. So let me know. No wrong answers. Grace says it's good that we didn't sign players with no confidence. He follows his brother's footsteps. He can earn higher if he gets better in bigger clubs. I feel he just wants to stay in a comfortable zone. I honestly think it was straight up about the money. But I'm sure, yeah. I mean, he's with his brother in his hometown. His family works at the club. So I get it. But look, if you want to chase glory too, not just money, you're going to have to leave your comfort zone. Nobody becomes great by staying in their comfort zone. You have to leave your comfort zone. So again, I don't feel bad. El Rao says, Bo, you're extra hippie and kind of yippy tonight. You're hilarious. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. It might have been that sip of rum. Messi Super Ballon d'Or says, attack is symbolic. If you ask me why forcing that through balls into 10-man low block, shoot more. That's what I scream every match. Fucking shoot. We have increased our shots from outside the box. I gotta say that. I gotta give the team that. You gotta give the team flowers when they're due those flowers. And no, I don't mean Valentine's Day. I mean in general. Funk Frank. Mo, how could you neglect the fact that Nico has been trashed this season? Oh, of course. But here's the thing. In all fairness to Nico Williams, even though fuck that guy, he is at Athletic Club de Bilbao. And Athletic Club de Bilbao have been absolutely abysmal, right? If Lamine was at Athletic Club de Bilbao, his season wouldn't be as good as it is. I think he would still do great things because Lamine is Lamine, but he wouldn't be doing as great as he is with Barca. Because at the end of the day, it is a team sport. And as great as you are or as skilled as you are, you still need skilled people around you to shine, right? If you put Messi in Getafe, do you think Messi would have been doing the things that he did at Barca with Getafe? No, right? I mean, I'm sure he would still do crazy things, but not as much. Because at the end of the day, you still need good players around you, right? Messi, as great as he is, and he is the greatest ever, he still benefited from having people like Iniesta and Xavi feeding him balls, from having people like Neymar and Suarez to feed balls to and have balls fed to him. That sounds a little homo, but you get what I mean. So yes, Nico's season has been shit, but partly does have to do that he is in a shit team. And there's so much you could do when you're in a shit team, no matter how great you are. Not to say that Nico Williams is equivalent of Lamine or Messi, obviously not. But yeah, you get the point, I hope. Valeriano says Nico 430 since he plays with Barcelona players at National. Okay, good point. And El Raul says Rashford is trash. I'd still take Nico. Okay. And Edward says the reason we went after Nico was because Nico and Lamine were super in the Euros. Yeah, Nico always does great with the Spanish team, national team. When he doesn't do great is with Athletic Club. And again, it has to do with, at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, you still need good players around you because it's a team sport, right? This is not boxing. This is not MMA. This is not tennis. You can't just depend on yourself. You have to also count on the guys around you. You got to count on the guys passing you the ball, and you got to count on the guys that when you pass them the ball to them, they know what to do with it. Raul says Nico's also dealing with pubalgia, but isn't getting the treatment Lamine is getting with special routine and daily treatment. It's also one of the reasons why he'd been poor this season. True, Nico's also been injured a lot. And Adebayi says Flick needs to have a plan B. Oh, like when you have unprotected sex and you got to take the pill. When our pressing players are unavailable, Ferran is terrible. Lewa age is catching up with him. But I mean, what's plan B? Sign players? That's not really up to him. It's up to the club. So, easier said than done, right? But anyways. That is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go eat something because I'm starving. And then I will be making another video with news because there's more news. So, stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, peace, guys.